Ratehub.ca is one of the top websites for Canadian consumers looking to compare mortgage rates and find personal finance information. Joining us to discuss trends in mortgages is Alyssa Furtado. She's founder and chief executive officer of RateHub.ca. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me this morning.
Your website, I gather, doesn't only offer information to people using it, but also aggregates information. So you know things about what kind of information people are looking for out there on mortgages, correct?
Exactly. We see about 300,000 Canadian users each month, and so we're able to infer, based on the sites they're visiting or the products they're asking information for, what they're looking at and what they're using.
And so what are they looking for in this very, very low interest rate, mortgage rate environment?
Well, really interesting. In 2015, we saw a significant increase in the people looking for variable mortgage rates. And that was up from 2012, over 50%. So huge increases. And we think, with rising house prices, people are just looking for what is the absolute lowest rate they can get in the market. And it also may say that they are confident that rates are going to stay low longer. And that's why they're looking at variable rates.
And what happened to fixed rate or interest in fixed rate mortgages last year?
So it was, around the 50% mark, but we just see variable increasing in its popularity.
Alicia, how do you see the market unfolding? Do you see your website increasingly becoming a hub for not just information purposes, but also educational purposes? And do you envision yourself at some point trying to get into other types of products and services to compete against some of these banks?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. We definitely see that education and our calculators and tools are very important, and that's sometimes the things that make our users fall in love with us. Yes, they like the rates, but we get comments like, thanks so much for, making these tools that help me make great educational decisions. The website, it's also really interesting. We're able to see and feel changes in the market with our traffic. So, RBC increased its rates on Friday, and then we see huge spikes in traffic. Or with the Bank of Canada coming up with an announcement next week, we'll see one of our biggest traffic months in January right after that announcement.
That's interesting. So for instance, what type of traffic did you see increase after RBC let it be known that it was going to move up interest rates?
That's general mortgage traffic. So, you can imagine people search things like best fixed mortgage rates or our mortgage rates going down or, Toronto mortgage rates. And there's all of these searches happening online. In the mortgage industry, over 700,000 searches each month. Canadians are going to Google and looking for this content. And so they find sites like ours, and that's where we feel the traffic increase.
And what about the Bank of Canada? How interested are users about Bank of Canada policy?
They're very interested, and they take away the high-level message, what's happening to the target overnight and what's going to happen to my variable rate mortgage. And houses, they affect everyone, You either own a house in Canada or if you're in the right demographic, you're at least thinking about owning a house in Canada. And so you're really curious about what interest rates, if they go up, are house prices actually going to come down? And people always have questions about it.
Who are your users? Would it be correct to assume that they tend to be younger users learning about financial markets and mortgage markets for the first time and getting ready to buy their first home?
Yeah, absolutely. They're a younger demographic, about 26 to 45 years old. They're obviously tech savvy. They like to go online, and they've grown up using sites like Expedia and Kayak for travel comparison. And so they really have those same expectations when they want to look at financial products. Why can't I see products side by side comparing information apples to apples? And so we're able to attract.
What's next for RateHub.ca?
Well, actually, so the first 5 years we focused exclusively on mortgages, but in 2015 we launched into comparing credit cards, savings accounts, and also GIC rates. So really starting to focus on those new verticals. So
users can compare the many different credit cards that are out there in Canada for the rates and their terms?
The many different credit cards, yes. And we actually found through a survey we did recently that over 80% still have a credit card with their primary financial institution. And so while that may be a great option, we also really want to encourage Canadians, you can get a credit card from any bank, from any different provider. And so really you should be shopping around, comparing those travel credit rewards or cash back, figuring out what one's best for you, and using tools to do that.
Alyssa, thanks a great deal.
Thanks for having me.
That's Alyssa Furtado. She's founder and chief executive officer of RateHub.ca.